I was gone for a minute, but I'm back now. Sit the fuck back down. Sit like everybody nowadays, Hollywood.
What's up, guys? It's Russel, aka Russwole, aka the Necklace Wonder. So as you guys can tell by the title of this video, I'm going to be reviewing Logic's third album, Everybody.
I'm like, hallelujah, praise God, Almighty, the Most High.
Now, I was getting a lot of requests for people to, for me to review this album, and I was a little bit reluctant. I wasn't really wanting to do it because me, myself, I don't listen to Logic that much. He's dropped a couple projects here and there, and my friends always tell me, yo, I'm sure you'll love this rapper named Logic. I listen to it, I'm just like, I don't know, man. Of course, structurally, he's a great rapper. He has bars, he has lyrics and stuff like that, but when it comes to, relating to him and feeling what he's saying, I just don't. So when people were telling me to review this album, trust me, this album is the best one he has so far, I'm like, all right, I'll give it a chance, just because I respect him as a rapper in terms of how he goes about things structurally. He's also a great person. I've seen a couple of his interviews, and he's very, he's upbeat, he's positive. He's gone through so much to where he is now. I have to respect that. Going into this album, I watched a couple interviews, I read a couple things leading up to it, and it seemed like he was trying to fuse his white and blackness, because if you guys did not know, Logic is a mixed individual. He's mixed with white and he's mixed with black. So there's a couple, just jumping off the, when I was going through some of the song names on this on this album, he had things that stuck out to me. It was Black Spider-Man and African Aryan, Everybody, America, things like that popped out to me because before I like I said earlier, I watched the interviews, so I was getting a feel of what he was trying to portray in this album, and when I looked at the song titles, those things stuck out to me. Okay guys, let's jump in and start talking about each individual track off this album, Everybody. So the first track was titled Hallelujah.
Am I ready? Are you ready? Are they ready? Are we ready? I don't know.
Now I'm not going to get into the very specifics of each lyric or each line, but very specifically they had a skit at the end where this guy, I guess he got hit by a car and he started talking to God, and one thing that stuck out to me, from the fact that I was able to go and watch the interviews about why Logic made this album, I listened to the fact that he's like, what about my family? What about my wife? What about my kids? And I guess he was talking to God. God was like, oh, it's very admirable of you to mention your kids. That's the first thing you mentioned after you die. So I was like, okay, I think it kind of feeds into the narrative that no matter where we are in life, or no matter where we walk, no matter what our walk is in life, is that all we want to do is get back to our family safe and sound. So whenever he brought up his family first, I'm like, okay, I feel like that's what Logic was trying to portray. The fact that this guy died, he didn't die in a crazy way or abnormal. He wasn't good or bad, but the first thing he thought about, the first thing that he brought up was his family. So that was the first takeaway I took from the track Hallelujah, and that kind of feeds into the other track, the next track, which is the title track, is called Everybody.
Everybody people, everybody bleed, everybody needs something.
The chorus goes, everybody people, everybody bleed, everybody needs something, everybody love, everybody know how it go, everybody people, everybody bleed, blah, blah, blah. So it's once again, it kind of plays off the first track, which is Hallelujah, and the fact that this guy, he's like everyone else. Everyone just want to make it back to their family. Everyone wants to make it safe and sound. Everyone cares about someone at the end of the day, which was kind of what I took away from that little, from Hallelujah to Everybody. The fact that everyone's the same. We're all out here just trying to live peacefully and stuff like that. So those were the takeaways I took for the first two tracks. And I actually really enjoyed the first two tracks. I was like, okay, I actually feel this. Normally I'm not a big Logic fan, so I'm just all right, he's spitting right now. Okay guys, the next two tracks I want to talk about is Confess
That motherfucker a waste of life, a waste of skin. Wanna repent, don't know where to begin.
and Killing Spree.
Ass, titties, pussy, money, weed. Everywhere I look, a killing spree.
So these tracks were really interesting because when I first listened to it, I was like, I thought Logic was like strong in his faith, but then I realized after like I watched a couple interviews, he wasn't. He said in this album he didn't want to always talk from his own perspective, or like he just wanted to kind of like give people songs that they were able to connect with. So he was talking about basically in Confess, he was talking about his lack of faith in God. Like sometimes I guess he felt like he was like in this lyric right here, he says, I'm a dirty motherfucker, a waste of life, a waste of skin, wanna repent but don't know where to begin, next of kin, don't give a damn about me, I know God don't give a damn about me. So he's basically saying like God doesn't care about me, God doesn't care about what I'm doing, I'm a waste of skin. So I'm like, damn, these are hard lyrics, man. So and then he goes on to say, but the devil said he wants my soul, but the devil said he wants my soul, give it to me right now. So it's like, once again, he feels like he's a sinner instead of a saint. So I thought that was really interesting because, you know, if you guys know anything about Logic, he's really, really strong in his faith. Like, he doesn't drink, he doesn't smoke anymore. Like, he's very, very strong with his connection with God. So this track was very interesting to me when I first heard it. And then Killer Mike is also featured on this song, and it was like a nice switch up because Killer Mike goes in to start talking about how, let me bring up the lyrics, but he's talking about how, like, as a black man, he feels like everything is made to stop him and everything is made to go against him. So he's wondering, why does God hate me so much? Why is God making this so difficult for me to succeed in life? He's like, you're giving me the tools to destroy myself. So it's very interesting. When I started listening to Killer Mike, if you guys don't know who Killer Mike is, he's a really dope rapper. He's part of a group of LP called Run the Jewels. Killer Mike is so dope. He's probably like, in terms of lyrics, he's probably the best. Not the best, but he's like top 5 easily in the rap game right now. But once again, man, this track was super, super interesting. It's actually one of my favorite tracks on here. The song after that is called Killing Spree. So when you go into Killing Spree, you start listening to it, you're like I like the chorus, man. Let me bring up the chorus again. I really like it. Like it's like one of the bangers off this album.
Ass, titties, pussy, money, weed. Everywhere I look, a killing spree.
Ass, titties, pussy, money, weed. Everywhere I look, a killing spree. All the things they want me to be is all the things I turn out to be. So this track, like when I started listening to the chorus, I'm like, this speaks to living up to the, like, I guess like the stereotype of what Logic is supposed to be as an individual, or at least as a black man in society. So people have all these, like, I guess like he lives up to the fact that he's a rapper and he's always looking at, he's talking about ass, titties, money, pussy, weed, everything that they want me to be. And it's like, he's like, hey man, like, I actually like this stuff, because the next line on the chorus is, all the things that want me to be is everything that I like. So he's admitting to the fact that he likes some of the stuff that people say he's gonna like. So he kind of feeds into his own stereotype of a rapper that all he talks about is ass and money and all this type of stuff. And it kind of feeds into the fact, more into the fact that, like, I guess he feeds into like the sins of his religion, like liking all that kind of stuff and feeding into it and allowing yourself to be consumed by those things is a sin in some type of way. So as he starts rapping and going to each verse, he says, I like this like line when he talks about, okay, it's like, okay, real shit going in Lebanon, but I don't give a fuck, my favorite show is coming on. So it's like, okay, on Twitter, you have these like fake outraged people, like when real shit's going on in the world, they start tweeting about this and tweeting about that, but they instantly forget about what's happening in the world when their favorite TV show comes on. Like, let's say there's like a bomb in Lebanon, or it's like there's the war that's going on in Lebanon. You know, when Real Housewives of Atlanta comes on, people stop tweeting about it and they're like focused on what this person is doing in their life. You know what I'm saying? So it's funny how things like become hashtags, and then after that person does nothing. He does nothing. They do nothing in order to fix the problem. They just hashtag it, and he's like, hashtag pray for this, pray for that, but you ain't doing shit. Get away from that. So like, it just goes into like the whole Twitter thing. Like whenever a serious event in life happens in the real world, like people tweet about it, they're like hashtag this, but they're not actually doing anything to solve the problem or actually playing a part in becoming the solution. So, you know, I thought that line was really interesting. He's like, blame it on black, blame it on white, blame it on a gun, blame it on a Muslim, everyone to blame him, blame her, just blame it on a motherfucking killing everyone. So it's like saying, he's like, don't take someone's individual act and apply it to their whole race. You know what I'm saying? So like, let's say like a Muslim shoots up the place. We're not going to go ahead and then say that all Muslims like to shoot up places, put it on that one individual. So that's what that specific line was talking about. And I thought, once again, it was interesting. So yeah, Killing Spree was actually one of my favorite tracks on this album, just because like the chorus hits pretty hard, and there's some lyrics on it that go pretty, that, you know, it hits, like it hits home in a sense, because I agree with what he was saying. guys, so the next song on this album is called Take It Back.
Take it back, take it way back, take it way, way back to the first black man.
Now, this song was, like, I've always known the story of Logic, but it was really interesting because he went into detail of how his story went. Like, I've watched a bunch of interviews, like, years ago about how he was brought up, because my friend, one of my best friends, was like, yo, you listen to this rapper named Logic, like, he's had this crazy upbringing, right? So I watched the interview, and I was like, I thought Logic was supposed to be black. So, you know, as I said earlier, Logic is of mixed race, so he's white and black, right? But Logic's upbringing, which is detailed in this track, which I'm basically about to clear it out, is very, very rough and very interesting, okay? So his dad is black and his mom is white, right? So his dad was like an alcoholic and a crack addict and all that stuff like that, and his mom was actually racist towards black people. So he came up in an interesting type of manner in the fact that, like, he was biracial, but he had a mom that hated him and a dad that was never around. So even though, like, his mom hated black people, yet she had children with a black man. So it was, I'm like, what? So he goes into detail about little things like his upbringing, how it's been tough. So like lyrics like, he details where he was born, right? Shady Grove Hospital in Rockville, Maryland, 7:36 a.m. where a biracial baby was born to a black father and a white mother, father that was never there, addicted to crack cocaine, alcohol, and various other drugs, same as his mom. So his mom was not only racist, but she was addicted to drugs as well. So it's like, so I'm gonna tell you about that, right? I'm gonna tell you about how this young boy never wanted was happiness. All he wanted was positivity. All he ever wanted to do was entertain. So you gotta understand, his mother was a racist, which is crazy, because how the fuck you gonna have all these black babies with a black man, but you're racist? Like, this don't make no sense, but it is what it is, you know? Growing up calling him a nigga. So it's like, he also had the difficulty of growing up in environments where, you know, like the white kids were like, oh, you have part black in you, like, that's bad. And he had like the black kids saying he's white. So he goes into detail by saying, like, he always saw things from two sides. So he was able to see sides from being a white person and then, like, having some black in him as well. Because, I mean, like, honestly speaking, Logic looks more white than he does black. Like, when you see Logic, you're like, that's a black guy. No, you're thinking like, oh, that's like a white guy or something like of that nature. So he's saying he's seen life from both sides, white and black. And basically he goes on to say that, like, at the end of the day, he just wants to be viewed as an equal. Like, he wants everyone to be viewed equally. He says everybody was born equal regardless of race, religion, color, creed, and sexual orientation. And, like, it's like this long speech about how you need to accept people for what they are and not judge and discriminate for what people choose to do if they're just trying to be happy. So yeah, like, this track really gives you an insight into how Logic grew up and, like, his very dark and detailed past. Like, he gives you details on how he grew up and how he became the person that he is now. He's basically saying he was just a young boy that grew up in a very stressful type of situation where he had murderers, drug dealers, and kidnappers in his own family, and he had a mom that didn't love him because of the reason that he was black, and, like, his dad wasn't even there because he didn't get crack and cocaine and stuff like that. So yeah, this track was interesting. It was loaded. Had a lot of good references in here, and, like, so far, like, going into this album, we're like, what, 5 or 6 tracks in, 7 tracks, and I'm like, damn, like, I'm actually liking the Logic project. I enjoy all the tracks so far leading up to this point. I'm like, this is pretty solid, man. This is pretty solid. Okay, so the next track is titled America. Now, America was interesting because, I mean, it was more about politics and saying, like, make America great again, but, like, one of the lines that stuck out to me, it's like, okay, it goes, like, make America great again, make it hate again, make it white, make everybody fight. So he's basically saying, like, okay, Donald Trump's whole slogan was make America great again, but when you think about it, like, in terms of what Logic was trying to describe, is that whenever Trump said make America great again, like, his version of making America great again in reality was making people fight again, making people separate each other, making people kind of have to choose sides and fight each other. So it's like, he's like, make America great again, that means make it white again, make us fight again. So that was him kind of giving his idea of what he thought what make America great again meant. He calls out Kanye West. He says, 2017 of Donald Trump is a sequel, so shit, I'll say what Kanye won't. Wake the fuck up and give people what they want. Man, it's love for the youth, the music is 2020, but the political views. So he's saying he disagrees with the fact that Kanye West went to go meet Donald Trump in, I think, the Trump Tower or something like that. So he's saying, like, look, Kanye, your music is amazing, but your political views are off, man. He's like, I miss a Kanye West that used to stand up and say that George Bush doesn't care about black people.
George Bush doesn't care about black people.
Yeah, he's basically saying that Kanye West kind of let him down in the fact that, like, Kanye West's political views didn't match up with like the old Kanye West that was like George Bush doesn't care about black people and stuff like that. So it's like I understand what he's talking about because you know everyone at least he held Kanye West up to on this pedestal, and it's like, you know, he's like, man, I love your music, I idolize you, and I was really disappointed with the fact that you decided to go meet up with Trump for like a photo op. So that's what I took from America. You know, also he had Black Thought on there, which is another very, very high level lyricist. Black Thought, like he killed his verse. Like there's not much to say. He also had Chuck D, another hip hop legend. Like there's not much to say. Like I'm actually surprised he was able to bring Chuck D and Black Thought onto this track. Those are like high level hip hop legends, and they killed their verses as well. Okay guys, so I'm going to be skipping across a couple of tracks just to speed up this album review, but the next track is called Most Definitely.
I don't know what I'ma do, I don't know where I'ma live, cause I feel like I ain't got nothing to give, just wanna follow my dreams.
So Most Definitely, he goes and talks about how like he just wants to follow his dreams and live his life and be happy, but the world is trying to tear him down from the start. Like lines like, trying to find a home, but I can't afford a home because I'm 25 and own 100 grand in student loans. So it's like he went to school in order to take care of himself, but now he owes $100,000 because he went to school to get a better education. But then like he's fighting all these demons and he's saying like, I want to do this, I want to do that, but it's holding me back. But then he goes and he has like a revelation within himself, and he's like I'm finna bug back, but not with bullets. I'm gonna use my education to the fullest. I'm gonna get out of debt, I'm gonna reset, I'm gonna get out of debt, I'm gonna reset. So he's like basically saying like, despite the fact that I'm trying, like he's like, forget like feeling like a failure, I'm gonna go and get it regardless of whoever's trying to stop me. And then as the song ends, the outro is literally like, as I said earlier, he was like kind of embracing the fact, or kind of highlighting the fact that he feels like his race is not accepted, like the world is working against him, and he's like, I hate my skin, and like all these people hate my skin, and the world's working against me, right? But in the outro, the chorus or the outro was, black people, to just fight for your right, fight for your life, black people. And he goes on to say like, it's like black people are intelligent, we're elegant, we're beautiful. All these things, like all these uplifting comments, and it's like he went from hating his black skin or hating the fact that he has black in his heritage to loving the fact that he has black in his heritage. So it became almost, it went from like kind of putting yourself down to accepting the fact of, I'm black, I'm strong, I'm beautiful, I'm proud, like stuff like that. So it's kind of like almost a 180. He went from hating to loving himself and bigging himself up. So this track was cool. After that, we go on to tracks like, I'm gonna go ahead and skip to like almost the ending, but we get to African Aryan.
Aryan in my blood is scarier than the blood. Been looking for holy water, now I'm
That's honestly like the songs from in between there kind of lost my interest. Like I just kind of zoned out. But whenever we got to African Aryan, I wanted to listen to it because if you guys didn't know, okay, so there's Africans, right? And then there's Aryans, which was supposed to be the superior race. Like that's what Hitler believed in. That's what it's like, the blonde hair, blue-eyed, white individual. And Hitler believed that anyone else that wasn't like that was inferior to them. So it's like African, and then you have the Aryan, and he kind of combined those, and he capitalized the A's in there. So I'm not too sure what capitalizing the A's in Black Aryan or African Aryan meant. But the first line, it opens up, I feel the Aryan in my blood is scarier than a blood. He's saying like he feels like the white inside of him is scarier than the gang that is the Bloods, right? So like, you know, you have the Crips and Bloods, he feels like the white in him is scarier than a gang. So he's kind of like, he's fighting with the fact that he is white, and he's like, he feels like he has this evil inside of him, because he goes on and says, tell white people I'm black, feel the need to retreat, like I should be ashamed of my granddaddy Malik, but my beautiful black brothers and sisters want to act like I'm adopted. So he's like, he's trying to find acceptance within both races. Like he's saying, I should, he's like, I shouldn't tell, should I tell white people that I'm black? And he's like, but I feel like black people don't even accept me because they say I'm adopted and all that stuff. Like I look more white than I am black. And then when I tell white people that I'm black, they don't really accept me. So he's like in this interesting kind of, in this world where he's like not accepted by either race, and he's kind of trying to find that balance, right? So he goes on to say, somebody pinched me, black man screaming, trying to convince me I'm not black. so why the white man want to lynch me? So he's saying he's like the black man's trying to convince me that I'm not black, but the white people are trying to lynch me because I have black in me. So he's still trying to find that balance. I just thought this song was interesting. Like this was a song that kind of brought me back into the album, because the tracks in between there, it wasn't like they were bad songs, but I kind of lost my interest. But yeah, African Aryan was a track that I thoroughly enjoyed. So yeah, once again, this song was kind of dedicated to Logic finding that balance between being white and black. And then they have like this long skit that kind of goes into the fact that, you know, he's like, so what Adam, there's a conversation between Adam, the guy that passed away, like got hit by a car, and God, and he's saying, so what now? What advice can you give me? And then God is like, what advice can I give humanity? So basically God says, live your life, don't waste your days on the negative energy of others. He's basically saying that, he's like, just be happy, find your own happiness, and stuff like that. So that's the takeaway I took from that. And then of course you had J. Cole that was sprinkled into the track later.
I never feel your approval till I accept my own. Come from a messed up home.
He goes into this little rap about Logic, like, yo, like don't worry so much about all these material things. He's like, I know you came from a messed up home, you know, cry out all your tears and your hurt, and accept the fact that you have to forgive your parents and live your life, man. He's like, because at the end of the day, if you keep holding on to these things, they're gonna keep hurting you. So I thought that was interesting because J. Cole's like giving Logic advice. He's like, yo man, don't hold on to the pain of your past, let it go so you can be a happier person in the future, and like don't chase materialistic things, be happy within yourself, love your family, and do right by society. So I was like, that was dope, man. J. Cole came through with it, and that was probably my highlight of the album. J. Cole's verse, which is interesting because like this is a Logic album, but J. Cole's verse to Logic was my favorite part on this album. But honestly, that's gonna do it for the rest of this review. This whole album was about him kind of combining being white and being black and finding that balance. And also, he also had other tracks on here that wasn't necessarily meant for him, but it was meant for others to kind of take and apply to their own life to help them go through the struggles that they have. And honestly, okay, so you guys are probably watching this album, you're like, wow, Russell really likes this album, man. It's amazing, right? Okay, so I'm gonna give my overall like rating of this album. So like the first 7 to 8 tracks I really enjoyed. It was cool, it was awesome. I was like, damn, Logic's really killing it. And then like there was like a period of time like towards the end when I got to African Aryan that I wasn't really paying attention. I wasn't really invested in the album anymore. You know, honestly, if I was rating it from 1 to 10, I would have to say it's about a 6.5, because the way I view albums is like, am I gonna return to this? Do I have a reason to come back and listen to it? While the content was very detailed and very like uplifting, and it's like very insightful, I don't feel connected to come back and listen to it. I mean, of course there are tracks like whenever Killer Mike was talking about how, you know, society is moving against me and I'm a black man and like I'm trying to come up against society, like, God, why do you hate me? I relate to tracks like that as being a black individual. It's the only things I was able to relate to. Like Logic, don't get me wrong, he's a really good rapper. Structurally, Logic is a great rapper. His lyrics are up there, but he's that type of rapper that raps really fast. So it's like his punchlines don't really hit for me. I'm not saying Logic sucks, but I'm saying that he's not someone that I go back to periodically to listen to his project. At the end of the day, this is probably a 6.5 for me, just for the fact that, am I gonna come back and listen to it? There are so many things I could take from this album, but you know, off of content alone, I have to give it 6.5. Once again, I'm not a big Logic fan. Logic is someone that people have tried to put me on before, but I just cannot connect to him. Maybe it's just the style in which he raps that I'm not that fond of, but you know, he has great content. He obviously is a lyrical rapper. He could rap his ass off. Yeah, this video is coming to an end, guys. Hope you guys enjoyed this little album review that I had for you guys. If you guys like this video, please like, comment, share, subscribe. Get better today. I'm out.
To not become a product of his environment, I need to cry and vent.